Welcome everyone. Today we're going to talk about building a double exposure image. And you're going to see on my screen, I already have my images chosen. So I'm going to use this cool van. I'm going to use a nice beach background. And I'm going to use a profile picture. Now in this project, I expect you to use your own picture, but for video purposes, I got this one from Adobe stock. So first things first, we always start our project with building a new file. Now, this double exposure, we're going to use this as the header on your digital portfolio. So we're going to make a small file and we're going to use pixels. So we're going to say File New. And we're going to choose to go 1200 pixels wide by 600 pixels tall. And go ahead and hit Create. So we have a nice wide canvas and we're going to build our image and we're going to add text to this a little bit later. So first things first, let's go ahead and let's just get your profile picture on here. So there's several different ways to do it. The easiest way for me is just to grab the Move tool, click and drag the image, and go over to our canvas and let go on top. And you'll notice it will bring in our picture. He's real zoomed in because we had a lot of pixels. So the first thing we need to do is we need to scale him down. So we go to Edit, Transform, Scale, and you notice I don't even see this guy. It's because I need to zoom out to see him. So go ahead and hit Control minus a few times, and eventually you'll see our bounds. And now I can click and I can drag these down. So if I grab the corner and pull it in, we can bring our guy down. Now, right now, it's very important that you get the size to what you want. When I click OK, it's going to be destructive and it's going to throw away all those pixels we had and leave us with just the amount. So make sure you're kind of happy with the size. Go ahead and hit Done. And now you can zoom in a little bit more, Control plus, go out a little bit. Now, let's go ahead and let's just work on isolating our subject. Now, Photoshop has made this real easy. In the past, we'd have to do a bunch of masking tools, but now we just got to click Select Subject. So you can click here, Select Subject, and Photoshop will use its AI. It'll read the image and it'll say, hey, this is the guy we want for the project. So the first thing we're going to do is we are just going to copy, edit, copy. We're going to copy him. Turn off that layer because we're going to reuse this layer later, and we're going to go ahead and paste our guy right there. So there we go. We have our guy. He is on his own layer, and let's go ahead and let's just add some background colors. So we can use what are called fill layers to add quick colors. So I could go Layer, New Fill Layer, and I could tell it to be a solid color. And then I could pick some sort of color, something that goes nicely with him, you know, maybe a nice blue or something like that. So it's easy to add in a solid layer. The cool thing about this is you can double click on the layer and you can go back and you can change it. So it's a quick, easy way just to get a solid field of color. We can also do gradients the same way. So we can say Layer, New Fill Layer, and we can tell it to do a gradient. And click OK. And here you see we have our different gradients. So right now it's just an orange or a yellow to transparent. But we can go in here and we can look at different gradients that are included in Photoshop. So I could do a nice blue to kind of a light bluish green there and click OK. So we can also play with gradients. There are other options too. If I double click, you can choose your angle of your gradient. So maybe I want it lit behind him. And there's some other things you can change in here, but quick, easy way to get gradients in there. So we've started adding a background. I'm not 100% happy with the background. I would prefer an image, and I have that beach image is going to fill this place. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this beach image into the background. So again, I can just click, drag, go up to my tab, bring it down to the image and drop. And again, I want to zoom out. I want to go Edit, Transform, Scale. Oop, zoom out a little bit more. And now I'm going to shrink down this image. Another cool trick we can use for scaling, if you hold the Alt key or the Option key on a Mac and grab a corner, it will scale from the middle. So notice it's pulling all my handles down. When I get it close, I can scale it a little bit extra. And let's see if we can just get, yep, I think we're starting to get the image where I want. Something like that. And let's go ahead and let's zoom back in. Yep, I'm pretty happy with that picture so far. So we have our nice background. We have our guy. So let's go ahead and let's make our double exposure. Well, to get started, we're going to make him into a silhouette. So we're going to go to our guy here, and we're going to hold Control or the Command key on a Mac, and we're going to click on the layer thumbnail. And when you click on the layer thumbnail, it loads a selection of that layer. Now I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to call this the silhouette. I think I got it. No, I think I messed up. Ooh, my spelling is off today. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to fill this with black. So go up to Edit, Fill. You can tell it to be black and click OK. So now we have our nice black silhouette in front, and now we're going to create the double image. So go ahead and grab your next image. Again, I'm just going to move it into this canvas. Drop it over here. Again, gonna have to scale it down. Now there are a lot of other ways to do this that I'm not showing. We can load things in non-destructive manners, but I'm gonna teach that later on in the course. Right now, I'm just trying to get you the basics. So go ahead, scale it down. You can Control Plus to zoom in. And we are going to mask this image. Now there's several different ways to mask in Photoshop. One of the easiest masks to use is what we call a clipping mask. And what a clipping mask does is it removes the pixels, or actually it hides the pixels where our silhouette is. So we are going to clip layer 4, which is call it the bus. We're going to clip the bus layer to the silhouette layer. So what I'm going to do is go here and say create clipping mask. And notice it instantly clips our bus to the silhouette. One of the neat things though is I can move my image around and get it kind of set exactly how I want. Something like that, and I'm actually very happy with it. So as you see, we've already created a quick, easy double exposure image. So now let's go ahead and let's tighten this up and let's make it look even better. So some neat things we can do on our silhouette layer, we can load in some layer effects. So go down here to the FX panel, and we're going to choose to do an outer glow. Outer glow. And on the outer glow, you'll notice we get this screen. We can choose how strong it is by turning up the opacity. We can choose noise, which you see as I do it, it kind of gives it a cool effect. And actually, I kind of like the noise. You can choose how far out it goes. You can choose the size. And you can also choose the color. So I think I want to get a color that kind of goes with it. Yeah, maybe something like that. And maybe the size is still a little too much there. So there we go. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So I'm very happy with that. One of the cool things about layer effects is you can go back and edit them at any time. Notice underneath your layer, it says outer glow. We can double click. I could change it, but I'll be honest, I'm pretty happy with it. Another effect to help set this off is I want to go ahead and add what's called an inner shadow. So you notice here we can check on other effects. So I can turn on the inner shadow, and if I click on it, I can go ahead and again, I can turn it up a little and you see that shadow starting to show up. You can choose how much of a distance it's coming in, and you could also choose the size. So I want to have a little bit so it has a good amount. So I think I am pretty happy with my image. Everything is looking pretty cool so far. Now we can start to experiment with adding some details back into this image. we can go ahead and we can take that image of the guy that we cut out before. We can drag him up above, turn him back on, and notice we brought him back fully on. And that's not what I want, but we do want to add some of these details. So what we're going to do, we are going to change the blend mode. So a blend mode controls how the pixels between these layers interact. So in this case, if I choose something like darken, notice, gets rid of a lot of pixels, multiply, color burn, which I actually kind of like that effect, linear burn. So we could roll through these and we could try to find some of these that we really like that are giving us the effect we like. I think overlay was one I liked. So that's too much. I think color burn is my favorite one there. So we're going to go ahead and do color burn. So we've added back some of our details. Now we're going to work on erasing some of this and getting rid of some of it because I like the van, but I need to get rid. It's a little too much for me. So first things first, I'm just going to duplicate this layer. I'm going to hide it and put it here. And I'm doing this because I'm going to do a destructive process. I'm going to use the eraser tool to get rid of some pixels. So if I screw up, I just go back, grab the other layer. So on layer 2, which is our guy, we're going to start, maybe we'll call this one details. You know what? I like names. Names are kind of nice. We can also clip them. We don't really have to. We haven't moved them, but just for safety's sake and everything, we'll clip them in there. Ooh, what happened when I clipped? Yeah, he's still there. We got all our details. So we've clipped them in there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start, you know what, hold on. Let me undo that clipping. I think it changed how it released that clipping mask. Nope, yep, I'm gonna leave it because I lost the shadow when I clipped, so I'm not gonna clip him. So let's go ahead and let's start getting rid of some of those details. We're gonna grab our eraser tool here and we're gonna play with some settings. So first things first, we're gonna play with the hardness. I want, if you notice when I go back and forth, I want a brush with a nice soft edge, and I am gonna go a lot bigger in size, maybe like 160 pixels. And I'm gonna turn down the opacity because I only wanna change a little bit at a time. And then I'm gonna come over here on my layer, and I'm just gonna start slowly clicking, dragging, and cleaning up some of these details. And you'll notice I'm clicking a lot. Maybe I'll turn the opacity up a little bit more. But what I'm doing is I'm slowly getting rid of some of these details so our original image comes out. And it's not a ton, just a little bit at a time. And there we go. And there, I think I'm pretty happy with the image. If I'm unhappy, I could just trash this layer, grab my copy, and come back again. So now we're almost done with this. There's a few other changes that I'd like to make. I would like to play with the background. I would like to put some text over here, and I want to make it readable. So what we can do is we can grab one of our fill layers. We can drag it up above our background image, and we can play with some of these blend modes as well and see if something, ooh, really liking that color burn on this one. And the linear burn. I like that because it would be real easy to put some text on the left there. Let's see, what else? Ooh, that looks nice too, though. That's good. I could put a lot of text with that one as well. So you experiment, play, have some fun with this one. Kind of like that effect. That's kind of fun. I think I'm going to do pin light on this one. So now I've gotten my background ready and I can start to put some text. So the last part of this image, as I said, we're going to use this as a header on our portfolio. I want you to put your strengths on this image. So one of my big strengths is I'm creative. So just grab your text tool, click. I'm going to type the word creative and have some fun with it. Go through, see if you have any interesting fonts. If you don't have any, there we go. I'm going to do the Cheddar Gothic Rough. We're going to play, I don't know what color to load yet, but maybe I'll play a little bit. And if you've never used the text tools, it's a good time to experiment. It's pretty easy. On your options bar, you have everything up here, the name, the type, the size. We can make this align to the left and just hit check. and I can go ahead and move this around. So one of my skills is I'm creative. We can add another one, and I'm very organized. And you know what? We could play. Go through your fonts. Find something interesting. You should have something interesting. Maybe, that one's okay. I don't know. Maybe Good Life. I like that. So there's another one. I'm organized. And I just want you to put them around, and I want you to have some fun with the layout. You can play with size. Maybe I want organized to be bigger. I can do edit, transform, scale. I can grab the edge, and I can also use the scale tools to make it bigger. So I'm creative. I'm organized. We can also play with the fill color of the text. So if I click on the text over here on my properties panel, I can hit color, and we could experiment with different colors. There we go. I kind of like that. You can also go and experiment with our effects. So maybe we want to do another outer glow. There you go. I like it. It's kind of going with it. So have some fun, experiment, design it up. That is why we're designers. You can play with your layers. If you want to turn off some of that light, you can change your layer opacity. It'll bring some of it back. It's all up to you. You guys show me what you can do. So once you're done, you need to make sure you save your file. In this case, you're going to go File, Save As, and you're going to save the Photoshop version. And when you're done, you're going to go File, Export, Export As. And in here, you can tell it just to be a JPEG. And this is how you would save your final JPEG to upload into your portfolio. So I hope this helps you. It's a very fun, easy project. And just let me know if you have any issues.